Hi, welcome back to another episode from Cloud. In today's episode, we will look into the architecture and installation of the hypervisor, enabling the hardware virtualization, and creating the first VM on our VirtualBox, and migrating the VM from a VirtualBox VM workstation. So regarding the architecture, I got a Lenovo PC which having an 8 GB RAM and 4-core i3 processor, which has been powered by Windows 10. As we know, the Type 2 hypervisor is an application installed on top of the operating system. So just like this. So I'll be installing that on Windows 10. Then the virtual machines are created on top of the VirtualBox. I'll be using Linux Lite. 1 GB of RAM and 1 virtual CPU will be consumed from the host machine. So if your host machine is big enough to accommodate more virtual machines, you can create furthermore as you wish. So in this episode, we will be creating only one virtual machine. Then we will try to migrate our virtual hard disk drive from VirtualBox to VMware Workstation. So let's begin. First of all, let's download the VirtualBox hypervisor from virtualbox.org. And if we go back, we can see the download VirtualBox 6.1. Click on that, and you will get the platforms to download. So I'm using Windows, so I'll be using Windows host binary. Click on it, so it gets downloaded here. It's very quick. So in the meantime, I need to go to another website, which is linuxliteos.com, which has an operating system named Linux Lite, which is a lightweight operating system. So this operating system will be used to run my virtual machine. So if you go to download option, or here you can see the download, then you'll get a free download option. This is a 64-bit operating system. So my hardware supporting 64-bit. So I'm downloading the ISO file. So click on that. So it gets downloaded. Let's get started downloading. And try to install the VirtualBox, and we will come back after the installation. So the links are in the description below. You can find it from there. Okay, I have installed my VirtualBox. So once you install the VirtualBox, you will get a window like this. You can see 3 menus: File, Machine, and Help. So right now I don't have any virtual machines running. So you can see in the left pane. On the right pane, you can see several options. Just import, export, and creating new and add. So this add button is to add a virtual machine from another VirtualBox. If you have already a VirtualBox running in another VirtualBox, so you can migrate it by adding the VirtualBox here. So I don't have one right now. So it is looking for the virtual machine files, but I don't have one. Let's create a new one by clicking on the new button, or by going to the virtual machine menu, create a new one here, or Control N is a shortcut key. So right now it's asking to name the virtual machine and the operating system to run on with. So right now I'll choosing Linux Lite, my operating system. So it gets a type automatically changed when I type on the name. So the machine folder will be my home directory, my user's home directory, and there will be a directory called VirtualBox VMs. Inside that I'll be it gets created a new directory named Linux Lite. Now you can see my version is 64-bit, but some of you doesn't have that 64-bit reflecting here. Mostly probably will be having 32-bit. This is due to the virtualization technology has not been enabled from the motherboard. So if you have that problem, we will fix it now. Those who doesn't have that problem can skip a few minutes from now. Let's do the fix. So go to settings and update and security, recovery. You can see the advanced startup. So in this, you can change your PC's firmware settings. This will go to the BIOS, and you can change your settings there. So restart it now. Clicking next. This is asking to allocate some memory, so I'll be using approximately 1 GB. So I'll be using 1 GB of memory. So if you want to use much heavy machine to run on, then you can increase the RAM size. Right now I'll be using 1 GB memory. Next. So now I need to choose the hard disk file. So it's asking whether to create a new virtual hard disk to store my data, or you wanted to add an existing virtual hard disk file. This is in the case of a migration. So if you wanted to add an existing hard disk into your virtual machine, so you can add it here by specifying the path of your file. Right now I don't have one, so I'll be creating a new one. And now it is asking for the hard disk file type. So there are 3 file types available. So one is VDI, so which is used by the VirtualBox. Another one is VHD, virtual hard disk drive, so which is used by Microsoft products such as Hyper-V and Virtual PC. Another one is VMDK, virtual machine disk. This is used by VMware Workstation. So we will try to have a demonstration on that by migrating the VDI to VMDK. Right now I'll be using VDI because I'm using VirtualBox. Click next. This is the storage and physical hard disk, whether it has to dynamically allocate or it has to grow the file system when the contents changes, or it has to be a fixed size. So I wanted to grow my file system dynamically, so I'll be choosing dynamically allocate. Then the size of the hard disk, so I'll be using 8 GB because I don't have much things to do. This is a demonstration session. So up to 2 TB, I have a hard disk of 2 TB, so you can use up to that limit, minimum of 4 MB. I'm creating that. You can see one VirtualBox has been created in my left pane, so which is in the power off state. So till now I didn't add my operating system to run on. I have to add my disk image into my virtual machine to boot up. So in order to go to do that, so I'll be going to right clicking the virtual machine, go to settings, or you can go to settings from here, click on settings. You can see all the things here. So the system, so if you wanted to customize your virtual machine, you can do it here by choosing the processor and also the memory. Right now we have to add the ISO image. So in order to go to that, you have to go to storage, go to this disk. Right now it is empty, which I don't have an image now. So optical drive to choose from, the downloaded option. So I have a file download, choose a file, disk file from the location. So right now my image is showing in here in this list, so I'll be choosing that 664 Linux Lite. So you can see that the size of the image is 1.33 GB and the location of the ISO image. And it has been attached to test Linux, which I have created yesterday for testing this VirtualBox. Right now I don't have that machine, but the data is still there. So regardless of that, I'm just clicking OK for that. So right now I have all the things ready. So I have my memory and hard disk drive, and also my operating system has been selected. So right now I can go and start my machine. Probably my machine will fail because I have some dependencies running in my VirtualBox. Yeah, expected. I already have some other processes running, so which is overlapping with my VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a third-party tool. So probably you won't be having that issue. So if you're facing the issue, then we can fix it. So I have the workaround for that. So we have to disable some other processes. So if not, just play around with your Linux machine. So in the next episode, we'll be using another method to create a new virtual machine which does not have this problem. That's it for today's episode. In the next episode, we can see the virtual disk migration. See you there. Thanks for watching.